Alrighty, guys. I think we are at critical enough mass to get it started. I have no planned intro. Should I just kick it off?
Yeah, go ahead and kick it off.
All right, everybody. I am Jesse. This is Matt, and welcome to the very first episode of the No Pawn Intended podcast, brought to you by nobody except Chess Goals. Matt's got the pawn. Matt, say hi. How's it going?
Going well. My name is
Good.
Matt. You guys might know me from some of the live stream classes that we've done. And it's cool to be with you, Jesse, because we've worked together on all the OG courses on chess goals. And we're going to dive into a little bit about like the story of chess goals and how we met. Um, I think a lot of people might not realize like the fact that we live nearby. We used to live like a mile away from each other, hang out all the time. So it's going to be cool. I'm excited for this first episode.
Yeah, me too. First episode or first question for you, Matt. Do we call this a podcast?
Yes, I think so. I think we do.
All right. So let's talk about how we met and how we kind of got to know each other. So uh, I was going through old emails. Monday, April 2nd, 2018, I sent Matt an email. I never do this type of thing, ever, ever, ever. But my son was born about a month and 1 day before this email. And right when my son was born, I got an email from the chess.com CEO saying like, "Hey, do you want to do some Android work for chess.com?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, but I need some time because I just had a baby." And he said, "No problem." And but they set me all up with like the whole like company directory. I was going through just to see if there's anyone nearby, like how many people even work there. And I saw you. I saw it must have had like your name, your chess.com name, and your email. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is weird. I'm gonna send an email. So live reading the email. Hey, Matt. A year or so ago, John Bartholomew gave me your name for a good chess club in Rochester, where we both live, though I never ended up joining. Sorry. Last week, I started as an Android contractor for chess.com and saw your name in their ping board, which is like a tool that they use for the whole company directory. It's cool to have another chess.com employee in Rochester. We should get coffee sometime. I'm also considering playing the Rochester Open as my first ever chess tournament. Then I just asked some questions like, how do I play, basically? And yeah, and from there we actually followed through. We actually met up. We got coffee at Dunbro's and played some chess. And that was the beginning of it all right there.
And I think it's really cool that you did reach out because, like you said, it's always kind of scary at first. And I think both of us, it's not in our personality to just like put ourselves out there, be like, hey, you want to meet up? But I feel like a lot of the coolest connections that people make in life is when you take some chance like that, right? Like, oh, let me just put this feeler out there and see if this guy wants to meet up. He's on some chess.com directory. Um, yeah, and we pretty much just like hit it off right from the start. It was awesome.
Yeah, and the real reason why I actually sent the email is because I recognized Smarter Chess, and I was a pretty big like SCC junkie, and I knew that Smarter Chess ran all like the stats and everything for the Speed Chess Championship. I have to read you one more because I'm very proud of this. So
Okay.
said so we're just like trying to find out a time like I can do next Wednesday, I can do after 3. It's like also have you considered renaming the Rochester Open to the Rochester Tournament?
I didn't see that when I was rereading.
Dude, the Rochester Tournament. It fits so perfectly.
I like it.
Yeah. We never did, but um even still, I still played in that tournament. I lost my first three games and won my next two, and I got a provisional rating of like 12 or no. I think I lost two, won two, lost my last one. But I got a provisional rating of 1215, and it's gone mostly up from there. So I'm sitting at around like 15, I don't even know, 1550, something like that.
Do you remember how long you had been playing and what your online rating was at the time that we
Yeah, my
met?
online rating was probably around 1200. So like the like foreshadowing for the chess goals or like the thing that kind of made chess goals even relevant at all was our rating comparison. So I think that was probably pretty accurate. I was around 1200. But I remember actually before that tournament, we did some lessons together and
Yeah.
we're like trying to figure out how, what my rating was, like what section should I even play in? And I think we picked the right one because I had a few tough games. I should have saved like a draw in a couple places. But yeah, it was a tough tournament. I was super nervous.
I mean, you played a tough section too, under 1600. And I think at the time you didn't quite realize what it would be like sitting at the physical board for the first time. Like you were really strong online, but there is that difference of like the nerves and everything of just being in your first OTB, Matt.
And what really messed me up was the 3D board because
Mm.
I was only used to the 2D board. Now I can play and I don't know, it's different. It just kind of like morphs into your mind and you don't have to think about it. But first getting started, it's like the angle of the board is different from online. And I just had to like double and triple check like, okay, am I going to move my piece to a square that is like attacked or something like that?
Yeah. Did you find yourself closing your eyes and trying to visualize the 2D board? Because I sometimes do that. Like you look at the 3D and then you try to like somewhat think in 2D as well.
No, I couldn't do that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I tell you the story about my opponent? Who's a friend of mine. I won't say his name, but he was like 1900, 2000 USCF. And he was notating with this little like e-notate device where you'd actually just use a pen and put the moves in. And we're playing
Hmm.
OTB Classical. And every move he would, or after every move that I made, he would enter the move in. Then he would just be staring down at his device like this. And I was like, well, that's kind of fishy. Like, I mean, we'll get into maybe some chess drama and cheating drama. But I was like, is he is he looking for moves on his little device? Like, what is going on here? And I asked him after the game. I said, hey, why were you looking at your device every single move? Because I'm not afraid to like call people out on some weird things like that. And we were buddies. And he goes, I'm so used to playing online that I needed to look at the 2D board. That's how I analyze. And it's like a little 2 inch by 2 inch spot on his screen that he
Hmm.
was using to visualize his moves. Insane.
That, that's interesting. Would you consider that like a form of cheating?
I don't know. I think it's allowed because he's not making any moves on it. Um, and he got super strong online first and then started playing OTB. I think his first OTB rating was like 1500 or something crazy.
Yeah, well, see, I would consider that, I don't want to consider that cheating, but it does seem like an unfair advantage to be able to see the board in a different way.
When your opponent can't.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like if you're one of the top boards at some tournaments, they'll like broadcast your board on the screen sometimes and stuff.
yeah.
But you can both look at it. So I think that is fair game. But yeah, if only one person can, that's kind of weird.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not accusing your opponent of cheating. It's just, I don't know, it just kind of like piqued my interest. Like that's a little interesting.
Yeah, I did win the
Um,
game, which was good. But had I lost or had been suspicious afterwards, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know about that.
all right, so Matt and I are just talking about how we met, how chess goals got started. We haven't even got into that. But before we do, please subscribe, please like, do us a favor. Um, if you're listening on Spotify, a subscription would be great. And thank you for your support through all the years of the YouTube channel and everything. We are very, very grateful for it. Um, how did Chess Goals even get started? It started as not a company at all.
Yeah. So it's kind of there was a mix of different things. Before Jesse and I met, I had a couple of different little things going on. Like I was working with the Speed Chess Championship shows for chess.com, like Jesse mentioned. And the other thing that I was doing was a rating comparison page at the time. And I don't remember how I first got the idea to do a rating comparison page. Um,
Well,
but I just wanted to,
it's
yeah, go
because
ahead.
everyone asked all the time, like, what does my rating mean? Like, this is my rating on Lee Chess. Like, I'm 1900. Does that mean I'm like only a few points away from a grandmaster? And no one knew. Everyone asked. No one had a good answer. And we got a chess player, national master statistician on our hands, and he's like, I gotta do it.
Yeah, yeah. And that was giving us a ton of traffic on our blog. So chessgoals.com had a blog and like a WordPress page that was getting us a ton of traffic. Then the other thing that I had going on was I created that chess improvement survey, which I just enjoyed because I could nerd out on chess data. And then when Jesse and I got together, we realized like, well, maybe we could do something with this. Like I was teaching a lot of private lessons at the time, driving all around town, and I kind of liked the idea of helping as many chess players as possible and combining my knowledge of chess and statistics. Like if I could do all of those things in one, that would be awesome. And if I could get some like financial compensation for it as well, then maybe I could stop doing all the chess lessons on the side. So that's kind of how things started from the business angle. And then Jesse, do you want to talk about like how we sort of first got going selling anything? Because that was kind of scary in the beginning, or setting up kind of our web front and stuff.
Yeah, so Matt had done a lot of work just like getting chess goals out there a little bit. Like we had the rating comparison page and that was getting decent traffic, probably like 100 people a day or something were just like Googling their chess rating and figuring out what it mapped to. And a lot of those people came to chess goals. Then I remember one day I went to your house just to hang out, and you had chess goals up and open. And you're like, I'm wondering if you want to play like a bigger role in chess goals. Like if you want to help me build like the chess goals. I'm like, okay, well, like what can we even do? We don't have anything. We have like one page that does something, and we started like brainstorming, and we had a ton of these free improvement plans that you did
Hmm.
and we basically just had them out there for free and they weren't super detailed. It was just kind of like basically what we learned from the chess improvement study. Um, and from there, we're like, I think we could really beef these up, make it a bit more of a wider range of like ratings that it can apply to and actually start selling them. And so that's kind of how we started selling anything. So we started doing these chess improvement plans, which still think are probably kind of the best out there for improvement plans.
Yeah.
And we started selling them for like 30 or $40 or something like that. And we actually sold some. Like
Yeah.
I remember every single sale we got, we're like, we tricked another person. Or like every time we got a sale, it's like, okay, well, we're not getting any more. That's the last one. Every single one seemed like some miracle that we got a sale, but they just kind of kept coming in pretty slowly.
Yeah. And I think the thing that um, people maybe didn't realize at first was I probably spent like 100 hours looking at that data every which way. Like there is so much effort that went into figuring out just how to get those recommendations. But then once they were out there, really like anyone could just download the plans and just take all the info. So it was kind of a scary thing. But yeah, once people started purchasing them, we were like, okay, we have something going on here. And then we made the community next, which I think was a huge selling point too. Like not only are you getting the study plans, but we have this community of people that are all looking to improve at the same time. At the time, I don't think there were, maybe Chess Dojo was around. I'm not even sure about that, but I don't really remember like adult improvers and chess improvers being a big thing back then.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I remember you wanted to start a Discord channel. I'm like, no one wants a Discord at all. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be in there. And then you kept pestering me, and I'm like, okay, fine, we'll do it. And it exploded. Like, and we had so many people in there, and it was so active. We had our own inside jokes, and we could just like
Yeah.
bounce ideas off these people. And some of these people in the live stream right now were probably OGs from way back in the original days of the Discord. Like it wouldn't surprise me. I don't want to say anybody's name, but some of the people I see in chat have been with Chess Goals for a long time, and that is, yeah, yeah. Let us know in the chat when you join Chess Goals.
Let's see who's the
Um,
oldest.
yeah, I have a guess,
I have a guess too, if he's still here.
but yeah, I'll see if he's still. Um, but eventually we branched out from just the study plans because we didn't. I don't even know why we decided to no longer sell the study plans, but we eventually kind of just decided like I think there's more to be learned here through some opening courses. And was the CaroCon the very first one? It was, right?
Yeah, and we only stopped selling the study plans after we had the courses going. So that's why
Hmm.
like we had this new product. But the first course was super scary too to make because we were just putting the video files in Google Drive.
Yeah.
Um, I did the work to like put the PGN together, and neither of us had any like video recording experience really. I think you did maybe like a couple Android tutorials, but like we didn't
Yeah.
have much experience recording videos. And we just figured out how to do it like OBS, let's share a board. Um, I don't know if we can even say the name of the website anymore, LI Chess or something like that. Had a study going, and just the rest was history after that, which was really fun making our first course, the CaroCon course. And even to this day, it's funny to like look back on it, Jesse, because the quality of like our audio and video was so low, but then there's like this nostalgic factor where no one complains about it. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we can even redo it at this point.
Yeah, no, I think we just have to leave it. And I've never
Yeah.
heard of that site you mentioned, LI Chess or something like that.
Yeah.
But in the chat, Presta J is for sure the original gangster. That is exactly what I was looking for. The Rubenstein Bishop. If you know the Rubenstein Bishop, you know that's an old school reference right there. A plus. Um,
I wonder if we can find that in the Discord. That was pretty
oh,
funny.
it's buried, but it's still got to be there somewhere.
We need Steve here. Steve. Steve, I think, had that joke.
Yeah. Yeah, so after we had a few courses going, we made the study plans free, and you can still get them completely for free if you go to just chessgoals.com. We have the blueprint, and it costs you your email, but we can basically you can basically go through the whole study plan. And a lot of the stuff from that study plan still stems from that improvement survey you did. So
Yep.
you're going to see a lot of blitz chess prescribed. You're going to see a lot of not a lot of openings, a lot of tactics, and some slow chess. Kind of depends on your level. And we even have like a blitz improvement, and it's like a lot of bullet, a lot of blitz. Um, yeah, so like the roots are still there, which is still really cool. And now, how many opening courses do we even have now? Like 10, something like that?
I think 13 paid
13,
opening
wow.
courses and then a couple free ones. Like we have the Vienna course.
Yeah, we I guess we also have middle games and tactics too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so back back in the day when we were first getting chess school started, we were selling only the study plans. And do you remember writing blog posts and then out of nowhere Google just started like publishing them to people?
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy. Just seeing the just random spikes on blog
Yeah.
posts.
So I remember you posted something. I mean, it was a good post, but not memorable. I don't remember what it was. And you publish it Sunday night at like 8 p.m. And we didn't even think anything
Yes.
about it. And we just went to bed and woke up and we're like, this is when we were like actually watching traffic really closely. And we had this huge influx of traffic and we couldn't figure out from what. Like, did someone link us on Reddit? But it just like kept going up and up and we're like, what in the world? But we eventually figured out that it was just like recommend if you go to like your Google News, it was just like the top link for people. And we have no idea why. To this day, we have no idea why.
Yeah.
And
You're kind of
and
just like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like you just hope that Google would recommend your blog post. And if they don't, a post could just like essentially disappear. But if they do, it would get so much new traction in terms of people. I'm trying to go back and see which one it was because we had a couple like that that Google picked up on.
yeah,
Yeah, I think like
and
the art of game analysis did pretty well. And then yours on why drop the London, I think had like a massive spike too for a bit.
yeah, that one had some sustaining. Oh, and nice. So in the chat, Josh says that his 1 year anniversary is tomorrow.
That's awesome.
That's exciting. You can get a free Vienna course. Just go to chessgoals.com, get a free Vienna course.
Josh, are you
Um,
lifetime access member already? We should give out free courses on the podcast.
yeah, we should.
We haven't even
Um,
discussed like what we're giving away. We'll give something away. We'll give something away. 'Cause, like Danny Wrench, he's always like, and you get a diamond membership, and you get a
yeah.
diamond membership.
All right, Josh is already a lifetime. Okay, maybe we'll give you free trainer for a year or something like that. Um,
Ooh, that's a good deal.
Yeah, so maybe now's a
Let's
good
do it.
time to announce the trainer. So, uh, I have been a little quiet on chess goals for the past year. Public publicly facing, I haven't been doing YouTube videos because I have been coding. If you go to train.chessgoals.com, I have been building that for a while. Put it in the
From
chat,
scratch.
but yeah, from absolute scratch. And this is our tactics trainer. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's early. It's like in beta, I would say. But everything is working. It is basically a tactics trainer that you can play through a bunch of different variations back to back. Um, we had this idea because so many people, we'll get to that in a second, get to that question in a second, but so many people that I was watching on like chess.com tactics puzzles is they would like calculate this whole complex variation and then they'd play their move and then the computer would just like sack their queen so it's the best move according to Stockfish. Like, well, that's not the critical defense at all. So we want to make it where, okay, yes, we'll give you the queen sack variation, the Stockfish move, but we're going to give you very like a human response that actually like makes you fight for your advantage rather than just kind of like throwing a piece at you or something. So, what language is a tactics trainer written in? A bunch of languages. So the website is MongoDB, Express, um, React. I'm trying to think of the MERN stack, and then Node.js. But I used a lot of Kotlin. I used a lot of Java, unfortunately, to like get all the problems in the right format. So yeah, a lot of JavaScript mostly, but yeah, many different language blended together. Okay, man, what is the best opening against the Sicilian according to you? I have an opinion.
I think my opinion might be the same as yours because you follow the 1E4 course. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's got to be the C3 anti-Sicilian. So E4, C5, C3, and you're playing for D4, and it is unstoppable.
Yeah, and
Grand
I
Prix,
think
I have
oh, sorry, I was just gonna say I think there are other options that are just as good in terms of like what GMs play and what Stockfish says, but I think for club players, C3 Sicilian is really strong.
Yep, and it avoids a lot of different like gambits and stuff like that. And you don't have to worry about all this theory. That's also my opinion. Nice. So when uh so okay, so we've got these blog posts going and they were getting like 3,000 views out of nowhere and we weren't doing anything with that traffic at all. We had Google ads on the site and it would make us like $4.
Yes.
Like absolutely nothing. It wasn't until after a few of them got pretty big. Um, Pun scoreboard chat one, Matt and Jesse zero, fair. Although I did say Poncast at the top of the episode. Uh,
Ooh, 1-1, Presta. 1-1.
uh, so we eventually decided to actually get an email capture in there, and we'll give you a bunch of free stuff if you entered in your email. So we'd give you the free study plan, like previews to all of our courses. Matt wrote an ebook. Bet we could probably dig that up, but like basically a path to making National Master very realistically, kind of wherever you're starting from. And it's just, it's not a quick fix. It's not a 1 year thing, but it's like a 12-year plan, basically, depending on where you're starting. I think of it as like running a marathon. Like you can't just like run your first marathon from starting from nowhere and qualify for Boston. It's like a 10-year process.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put that link in the chat. Let me know if it works, guys. It's a Google Drive, but I might have to share it differently.
If you send it to me, I should be able to.
Looks like everyone should be able to see it. So there's a lot of like stats, numbers, and things, but yeah, it shows how you could start chess at age 30 and essentially get to kind of like the 2000 level by age 40 with enough effort. But then, as you get higher, it gets harder and harder. So kind of an
Yeah.
inspirational post, I think.
Keep in mind, guys, this is not a quick fix. This is not a become a GM overnight thing. This is a 10-year plan, but it's very realistic. Matt basically mapped out how much average gain you get based on how much you study, how old you are, and like actually made a path. I think once you get to age like 40, it's really hard to make progress once you're like at 16 to 1800. This has been a bit old though, so I guess I'm not in, my numbers are probably a little fuzzy.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things with this data was, we're all sort of taught like, oh, as you get older, it's harder to improve at chess. But I think the data shows that your rating matters way more than your age. So the higher your rating, the harder it is to improve. That matters a lot more than the age. So there's no reason a 40 or 50-year-old couldn't reach master, for example. I think if you want to get to some of those FIDE titles like FM, IM, GM, you probably have to start younger than, let's say, age 30. I would imagine. There are going to be some exceptions, but pretty much I think anyone can get to like 2000, maybe 2200, depending on when you start.
Yeah, so here's a great example. In the chat, Cody says, I'm 43, would love to get to 1800. I'm currently 1380 provisional. Cody, let me say, 100% confidence you can get to 1800. It may take you 10 years, but there's no
Yeah.
doubt in my mind you can get to 1800. But it's not overnight. It's not drill tactics for an hour every day for a week. It's going to be serious study. Really got to drill your openings, their associated middle games, be sharp tactically. You have to get better everywhere, but absolutely you can get to 1800. No question in my mind.
And Cody, are you following one of our study plans currently? Um, because I think like one of the hardest things is you need to be very consistent. So if your goal is 1800, you probably need to be spending like 7 hours a week for 10 years, right? Like you want to really just keep grinding at it. And I think the easiest way to grind at something is to have like a layout of exactly how you're going to do it. And then you just focus on doing instead of trying to analyze, like, oh, should I study this way this week and then study this way the next week? And you're going to waste all your time figuring out what to study. But we did that for you if you have the Chess Goals Blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the biggest like value add for those study plans. Everyone gets so confused about what do I got to study? What openings do I need to play? What's the best tactic site? What's the best positional book? Like we have one recommendation and you can ignore it, but we just picked the best one. So
Yeah.
like tactics, just use the chess.com tactics. They're good as anywhere else. Or better yet, go to train.chessgoals.com. Okay, selfless plug. We don't have any sponsors. If you use promo code podcast, you can get 50% off yearly subscription. That's it.
Did you put the
Uh,
link in already? Train.chess. Oh, yeah, it's up there. Okay.
yeah, I did. I'll put it again. So it'd be great if you guys checked it out. It's you can sign up for free, by the way, and we give probably I don't know, 500 problems for free, maybe more. I think we have about 1,000 that are behind the paywall, but you can spend a lot of time on the free problems only, and that'll be free forever.
And I think the
Um,
cool thing with getting in early on the trainer, um, is because we're still kind of like a small community. The trainer's new. You can join our Discord if you're not already in there. But we're looking for your guys' feedback, right? So you have this opportunity to kind of like come in early and help design how the trainer's going to look. Like we're always looking for ideas. And I think, going forward, Jesse, we're going to kind of tie in the trainer to our recommended study plans more and more. So, for example, one type of training I really like is the woodpecker method. And I think the trainer is already set up in a nice way to start to utilize the woodpecker method because it has you go through the puzzles in order, right? So you could do all the puzzles in order and then redo them from the start. It's not kind of the random spaced repetition, but we do have more like, do you want to tease any of the ideas coming up for the trainer or not yet? We do have some more ideas.
Sure. Yeah, let me te tease a few. So
Okay.
another advantage to getting in early too is once we start building some of this stuff up, the price is going to go up because we're going to add a lot more value in the future. One thing that I am working on right now is adding a guess the eval. So we all love guess the elo, the Gotham chess series. I love those videos.
Yeah.
But we have a guess the eval, so we'll kind of plop you into position give you like, okay, who has how big of an advantage does blocker right here have in space, in material, in pawn structure, king safety, piece activity, all those different aspects, like positional aspects, and it'll have you grade those. It'll have you basically submit an evaluation for position, and then we'll talk you through it once you submit. So that's the one I'm most excited about. I haven't, it's like a positional chess trainer. I haven't really seen anyone do that, but I'm excited to build that out a little more. It's still very new, probably a ways away. I hate to put a deadline on it, but within a couple of months, I would say I can probably get it. Um, Next thing I'm going to work on is probably better spaced repetition, like Matt was saying. Right now, it's just kind of like reviews from the one you've reviewed the longest ago to the newest. And we've gotten a bunch of other like small feedback items in the Discord. So thank you to everyone who's been checking it out. One is when you're like actively learning each line, it doesn't tell you how far you've gone in the like set. It was like in the main one, there's like 500 some problems. We'll add in like you're on problem 87 of 500 or something like that. So we'll add that in. Bunch of other stuff. I have a whole board set up for ideas that I'm so I don't lose, but I'm having trouble thinking of them right now.
I think you hit on the main ones. I mean, each
Yeah.
item takes a little bit to get implemented, but yeah, I think that I'm really excited for the imbalanced scorecard. And then we did talk a little bit about like maybe having our rating comparisons be more interactive instead of just the tables. So
Yep.
so Jesse could tell you, I'm always sending him ideas. Hey, Dennis and Justin are both here. I'm always sending Jesse ideas like, hey, idea for the trainer, Jesse, feel free to reject. And sometimes he's like, reject. But
Right.
I have
It's
more
like
ideas than
that's
time
a
to
great
code it.
idea. I am rejecting.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I have a question for a few of the Rochester chess members that have come into the chat. So we are reading early emails. And I was saying we should rename the Rochester Open to the Rochester Tournament. That one's for free, Dennis. Okay. Feel free to take it or leave it, but I think Rochester Tournament could go a long way. Great marketing there.
That actually
What were we
made me
talking about?
that made me think of something. Whenever I do the live streams, the instructional live streams, oh, Dennis said what? You want to
Oh,
explain
type
it?
it out.
Whenever we do the live stream courses, or not courses, classes, excuse me. Yeah, Justin's got it. We ask everyone in the chat where they're from. So actually, I'm kind of curious if you guys want to put in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. Because I think in Europe, most people are probably sleeping. So I think it's going to be a mostly US based audience, I would assume, or North America. Put in the
Be
chat where
interesting
you're
to
from.
see where people are from.
Road chess tournament. Oh,
Rochester
Spencer
Tournament.
Buss.
My brother's here. Thanks for joining.
Your
Cayman
twin,
Islands,
twin
Netherlands, Iowa, Maryland, Minnesota. Wow.
Orinoco, Chicago.
Chicago. Two more in Rochester. India. Wow. Wisconsin. Boo. No, I'm kidding. Wisconsin's fine. Congrats on making the playoffs. To the Packers. We got Florida, Washington, D.C. Very cool, guys. And I say guys because I'm pretty sure our audience is what, 98, 99% guy. I don't know the numbers, but it's mostly dudes, and that's fine.
Well, we're also from the Midwest. And when you're from the Midwest, you just say guys to mean y'all. Like you
That's true.
all is just guys. Even if it's all girls, you could say, hey guys.
It's true. Oh, I think we have a winner here. Bodie Carlman, Sweden, 3 a.m. That is very cool, Bodie. Thank you for joining.
Worth it. Worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I had a chess question for you, Jesse. But first, I got to give you a little background because I think you might be too new of a chess player to remember this. But
Okay, could we call it a chest chin? Okay, sorry. Go on.
not bad, not bad. 2 out of 10. Um, do you remember the Topalov Kramnik World Championship match?
No, that was before my time.
Okay, so this was in 2006, fall of 2006. Um, do you have you heard about the controversy from that match?
This was Topalov versus Kramnik? No, I have no idea.
Yep. So the controversy was each player had their own bathroom. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yep. Cody says toilet gate. Each player had their own bathroom.
Okay, I do remember this now.
And Kramnik, I'm gonna probably get the story a little bit wrong, but Kramnik was essentially going to his bathroom every chance he had, right? Like I think it was almost every single move, spending an inordinate amount of time in the bathroom from what you'd expect in a world championship match, right? And they did find like a cable hanging from the ceiling. Now, this is 2006. Like people are logging into the internet with AOL at this time and phone lines, right? Like this is way back in the day. So I was Googling what were the strongest chess engines in the fall of 2006. And it was like Fritz 9, I think, and maybe Ribka, the very first version, right? So pretty old engines. And humans could actually even beat these engines at lower depth. So my question for you is, if Kramnik was using Fritz 9, what depth do you think he was running it on?
That's a great question. This is old school phone. I don't even know what kind of computer could exist back then, but I'd be surprised if something, you said this was in 2006.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if something in 2006 could go more than like 12 lines deep. Um,
So the answer is two ply.
what? Two? Oh, okay. Oh my God. And he walks off the set. Two ply. All right. Well, that'll do it for the show. No, I'm kidding. How long has he had this cooked up? He's had the
Since
toilet.
yesterday. Since
Been,
yesterday. I even had my prop.
he's been holding the toilet paper this whole time. This is why I have to watch the video, you guys, because he
I
just
loved your
whips out
reaction.
a
You were
toilet.
just like, wait, what?
Uh, okay, question. Was it Topalov using the bathroom or was it Kramnik?
Oh, I thought it was Kramnik. Hopefully I didn't get it wrong. But I think after that, though, they needed to share a restroom, and then Kramnik protested and actually forfeited a game. And then I believe they gave them back their individual restrooms, but they were like more scrutinized. I don't know how exactly they did it.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
Dennis
is
says
this is
Kramnik.
this is serious weak behavior. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun to have them be forced to share a bathroom though.
Yeah.
Alleg okay, allegation was against Krabnik, you had it right. So one thing I wanted to say too is yeah, rate the joke 1 through 10. I will give it a solid 9, not gonna lie. Everyone rates it a number two. So, okay, so one thing that's interesting about our study plans and how different they are from like a lot of common um, chess recommendations. Everyone talks about how like the key to get better is to play like good slow chess and like 15 minutes aside. And that's not something we disagree with, but we found in our big chess improvement study that people who just got in a lot of games improved really quickly. And I remember when I was first like starting to follow top level chess, it was kind of well understood, or not understood, but just assumed that Naka was kind of washed. Like he used to be really good and he had dropped to like 20, 25 in the ratings. And he was maybe like 27, 40, something like that. It's probably like his like his lowest rating in the past 20 years or something like that. But everyone just kind of assumed, okay, he's a great blitz player. Obviously, no one can really touch him on chess.com, but he just doesn't have it OTB anymore. And then over these last like 3 or 4 years, he has streamed so much. He has played so many games, like 6 hours a day for years. And guess what? He's now ranked like number three in the world. I wonder if there's something there when you're at his level and you get so many reps, you get to see the pawn structures over and over. He's learning something from all of his games because he can just like internalize all these pawn structures. And now he goes and he's just been crushing OTB. He didn't lose a game this year.
Yeah,
Do you think there's something to it?
I do. So him and Caruana both performed over 2,800 in the last year. They were the only two, I believe, who did it.
Yep.
So not only is he ranked number three in the world, he outperformed Magnus, and him and Caruana were essentially tied. And then, like you said, though, he was the only one that hadn't lost a game. So both Caruana and Magnus have lost multiple games in the last year. But I think you're right. And one of the biggest things I find is when adults have trouble improving, it's that they're not playing enough games. Um, Adults are really known for having a lot of chess books and chess resources. I mean, I have two chess books sitting right here on my table, but I don't read them. And that's what happens with most chess players. Like you open a chess book, you're all excited to read it. You don't actually get to it. But then you're not implementing what you learn if you do read it, right? Like you want to be playing a ton of games and creating takeaways from every single game. So if you're not playing chess every single day, but you have time to read chess books or train on Chessable or other websites, I think you should play at least one game every single day first as your goal. Um, and also, when you're playing games, yeah, people are saying guilty in the chat. When
You
you're
have to
playing
chat.
games, you should have at least one thing that you're working on. At least one thing, preferably two, three, or four, maybe even five. But you want to be sitting down at the game thinking, okay, I tend to do this certain thing well. I tend to not do this thing so well. Let me work on it. Like I'm falling for too many back rank mates. I'm trading queens too often in positions where I don't have a very big advantage. Whatever it is, right? I need to develop my pieces more quickly. That was like a recent one of mine. Um, Evaluating exchange sacrifices, right? Like have certain things in your mind that you are working on. That's how you really improve as a player. That's going to be much more valuable than reading books.
Yeah, so I remember watching a really old video from I believe it was Kostya, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Kavutsky or something like that.
Hmm.
And he had a really interesting take on knowledge versus skill. And I've never seen it breaking down like this or broken down like this, where you can have a lot of chess knowledge and you can have maybe the knowledge of an 1800, but if you don't have the skill to actually apply that on the board, you're going to be 1400 and you're going to be so frustrated. You're always making mistakes. You always know why you lose every single game. And it's like it doesn't do any good to like know the intricacies of like how to play with a bishop pair against a knight in an open position. That doesn't matter if you can never like get there. Like if you're just dropping pawns or your king safety is completely ruined or you're down a piece, it doesn't matter that you know positional ideas. So the more you can play these games and just quickly see when a piece is hanging, quickly see, squares that are defended and not making just the very simple moves, that's when the real improvement happens.
And I think, as we design more courses too, we're going to kind of go with this philosophy. So even though we started out with a lot of opening courses, we want our courses to be efficient as well, right? Like, let's mostly get you playing games. But when you do want to learn something, we're going to try not to waste too much of your time. Like, here's a 100 line opening course. Now go start playing games. And if you have questions, you can ask that in the Discord. You can ask that in the course discussion boxes. But really, we want you to play a lot of games. Like, we don't want to give you 500 lines and 50 hours of video to watch on an opening line.
Yeah, exactly. It almost seems like hypocritical. Okay, I'm seeing people saying, should we all go leave and play games? No, stay here. Give us a like too, because it's good for the algorithms, good for getting the podcast up off the ground. I was gonna say it almost seems hypocritical that we tell people to play all these games, don't focus too much on the opening, and we have a ton of opening courses. But the difference is our opening courses are we cut out so much from those. It's all the essentials. So
Yep.
we're not gonna go 20 moves deep in hardly any lines, like maybe a couple lines where it's like very forced and critical. But you can get through almost all of our opening courses in probably like 4 or 5 hours, especially if you watch the video on like 1.5 speed or something like that. You can
Yeah.
very easily get through all of our courses. They're all roughly 100 lines and really easy to just like drill on Chessable or whatever. And so you get your openings out of the way. So you like get the fundamentals down so you don't have to worry about them anymore. You can really focus on the middle games. You can really focus on the tactics. And Caro in particular, we took that a little far, and we have a whole middle games course. So those pair really well together. We have a bundle that do we still are we still running a sale on bundles, or did that end?
We do have the sale on bundles still, 50% off.
All right, so if you I believe the code is goals 2024,
Yep, that's right.
and you can save 50% on all bundles. Just go to chessgoals.com. Um, what else do you want to talk about? So what do you do outside of chess, Matt?
Oh yeah, we got to talk about our hobbies outside of chess, Jesse.
All right, you guys are never gonna believe this hobby that's gonna come out of Matt's mouth. I could give you guys 100 guesses, and you'll never guess this number one hobby that Matt has.
The current hobby or in the past?
I was thinking the past hobby.
Okay, past hobby. I see current hobby listed twice already. Past hobby, anyone know it? There was an April Fool's video. That's a hint on rebranding our YouTube channel. I should have wore the t-shirt you gave me, Jesse. Presta J knows.
Yodeling, that's a good one. It's a good
Arm
guess.
wrestling. Arm wrestling. Um, so you guys ever go on YouTube and you just get like some very obscure video, like some random thing, right? And you just click it. And then YouTube's like, "Oh, you clicked this random video. Let's like go a little deeper down that rabbit hole." Well, I think at one point, for whatever reason, I was getting sucked into videos on like very obscure sports, right? Like just I can't even tell you what sports I was clicking on, but like the most random sports. And I'd be like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, that's kind of interesting." And then I got this video and it was Shaquille O'Neal on TNT. And at the time I was a basketball fan too, like paying more attention to basketball, NBA. And I would watch TNT and they had Shaq and Barkley and those guys were just hilarious. Well, they had an arm wrestler on, and this got recommended to me on YouTube. And the arm wrestler beat Shaq in arm wrestling. And I was like, who is this guy? And the arm wrestler was Devin Larratt, who's now got a massive YouTube channel, like over 100,000 subscribers. He might have 200,000 at this point. And I just totally got sucked into arm wrestling. And now I can tell you the names of all the top arm wrestlers essentially. I could probably read off 100 names of arm wrestlers or list off 100 arm wrestlers without looking at anything. And it's just fascinating. So then I was thinking, okay, I got to at least try it. I've lifted weights a little bit in the past, maybe I know there's weight classes, right? So it's like you can just compete against people your own weight. So I was researching where can I go to an arm wrestling practice? And there aren't any in our city. There was a couple like hour and 45 minutes north. And then there was this guy I was recommended like 45 minutes south of here. And I connected with this guy and he's like, oh yeah, you can like come to my farm and we'll teach you how to arm wrestle. It's like, okay. But I didn't want to go on my own. So I wrote Jesse into it. Jesse, you
And
want to
I
take the story from there?
Yeah, and I gotta be real. Like we had known each other for maybe like 5, 6 months or something like that. Like we didn't even know each other that well. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I guess let's do arm wrestling. I was never really into it. I'm not that strong. Um, so we're driving. We're driving, right. We stopped for like a water or a Powerade
Quick
or
trip.
something like yeah, at this random gas station. It's like 5 minutes before we get to this guy's house. And as we get closer, the roads start getting narrower and eventually it's like one lane gravel, untreated gravel, hasn't been repaved in years. And then it's like kind of converts into like a dirt road and we're going and I'm like, "Oh man, where are we?" And like I check my phone, there's no service
Yeah, yeah.
and the GPS stops working and I look at Matt, I'm like, "They're never going to find our bodies."
Do the wives know where we're at? No, no clue.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a wife, I have a family. They had no idea where we
I'm
were
too
going.
young.
We're just going arm wrestling and it was actually great. The dudes were really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So it's two guys. And like we're driving down that gravel road, and like there's like a dog running alongside of us. It's like the guy's dog. But I still remember Um, Craziest part was meeting the one guy. The size of his hand was like triple a normal human's hand. And I was like, okay, this is way out of my league. Like, I'll never be able to
Yeah.
take this sport seriously, but
Yeah,
I still watch it.
he had the stereotypical like farmer hands, like thick hands, and just like he's like he had a glove.
Yeah.
And just like, I remember I just like stood there and we like grabbed hands. I'm like, I just have no chance of even like staying upright. Like he could break my arm no problem.
Yeah.
Dude was so much stronger than us. But we did
Like,
arm wrestle each other.
yeah. How did we do? I was trying to remember. I think we were fairly even, weren't we?
Yes, I think you won right hand and I won left. But I think that's because you had a shoulder injury or something.
Well, we had been pulling against the other guys too. So I think we were both like a little fatigued.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
this other guy showed up with his kids and he was like so strong. It's crazy.
well, and his handshake felt like a lobster claw or
Yeah.
something. Like it was just like snap. It was crazy. Well, then I lost to the one guy's girlfriend who like I guess was a novice arm wrestler or something. And I didn't understand what she did because I felt like I had zero power whatsoever in my arm. And she's like, "Oh, it's simple. You just need to pull your hand back into the other person's fingers and they lose all access to their power." And I was like,
Yeah.
mind blown. Like I could just
Yeah.
pull backwards. Like we didn't do that in the lunchroom in high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, for sure. So there's actually quite a bit of technique to it. So like like a pretty like small small guy who knows how to arm wrestle could probably like take out a whole bar
For sure. Yeah, for sure. With technique.
unless there's like some 6'5" like 300 pounder there, I probably couldn't. But yeah, there's a lot more technique than you think.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Kind of, it's like a chess match, right? The chat went quiet after the
Yeah.
arm wrestling talk.
Yeah, we lost 50% of our viewers after the arm wrestling. No, that was a good story out in the woods and like okay, current hobby, I see a lot of people guessed pickleball correctly. Tell me about pickleball. I don't really even know much about it.
Yeah, so I got into that last fall. I was looking into some sports to play because I just kind of miss playing sports. And I started playing basketball and pickleball. And pickleball was brand new. Basketball I'd played quite a bit when I was younger. And pretty much essentially I've dropped basketball completely now to have more time to play pickleball. But I really like it. Just I don't know, kind of there's like a social aspect to it. You just go to open play sessions and you rotate partners and things. And Justin, who's in the chat, said he's pretty good at it too. He's played quite a bit.
That's nice. So, I've been wanting to play, but I have an injury, and I just got my flexi band in the mail today. So I'm gonna try to
Oh,
rehab
nice.
it, and yeah, maybe I can get in there
Twist
with you
it.
sometime. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't actually know how to use it yet, but something with the twisting.
I think there's
Uh,
instructions based on where you feel the tennis elbow, like
okay,
which how to twist it.
okay, yeah, I'll have to look at it. All right, is there any questions we can go over in the chat? Anything else you want to talk about?
Um, UFC. We're also into UFC now.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if my brother is still here, but uh
Oh, marathons. Dennis just said that in the chat.
okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah, let's talk
Uh
about your goals at some point here for 2024. Running, lifting.
yeah, we can just do that now. So I don't have any running goal for this year because dun dun dun, I'm having a baby in a few months and that just throws a whole wrench into the whole system. So Um, I would have loved to do like the Rochester half marathon again, which Matt and I ran together last year. But that is going to be like the week the baby is due, so I'm not going to be able to do that. And I'm not going to really want to commit to a long race after that, because I'm going to have a new baby and I'm not going to be able to or wanting to wake up early to actually go running. So a lot of my goals this year have just been like strength related. I don't remember the exact numbers, but basically I just want to improve weights on bench press. My bench press is by far my weakest lift because I haven't been doing it that long. bump up my squat to my previous PR, get deadlift up and overhead press. There's a website called like Male Strength Standards or something like that, and I just want to get. I think it was like intermediate, or I can't remember. It's like novice, intermediate. I don't know, something like that. It's like the third one. So if I get to the third tier on all those lift, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I know the site you're talking about. I think it's something like starter, novice, intermediate. But you would already be above novice, so yeah, your goal is probably intermediate, I'm thinking.
Yeah. And there's elite and advanced, and I think like maybe my squat is at advanced, but nothing else.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I want to keep it's getting a little stronger this year. Um, Other goals, I just want to keep grinding on chess goals too, and that's about it. Not never been much of a big goals guy. How about you?
Um, yeah, I like goals, but I more like trying to enjoy the process, like setting a plan in place and just enjoying the process. Because if you don't attain a goal, like then what are you supposed to do? If
Yeah.
it's some kind of numeric endpoint. Hey, Pradeep, welcome. Oh,
All
okay.
right,
So
Matt.
what are each of your chess goals in the short term and long term? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't really have one. My main goal is just to keep enjoying it and, kind of keep it part of my life because I don't think there's ever going to be a time where I'm never going to play chess again, where I go like weeks and weeks without playing a game. Um, but I just kind of want to like play a little more often. If I could not be so anxious over the board, that would be wonderful, but I don't really know how to go about actually doing that.
I
But
think
that's probably like my number one barrier to playing tournaments other than like family commitments.
I think you just need more reps OTB. Like you haven't really played that many hours of OTB chess yet, in like classical tournament situations.
Yeah, what about you? Do you have chess goals for this year?
Nope, my chess goals are chess goals. I just want to keep making courses and YouTube videos and interacting with chess goals community because it almost feels like at this point like a little bit selfish for me to work too much on my chess because we were talking about like when you get older and your rating gets higher, it gets harder. I think I'm very close to like my realistic ceiling in chess. So, the amount of time I would have to spend, I don't know if I would enjoy it to potentially not see any improvement in terms of like rating gains. So, I kind of just want to help other people and keep working on chess goals for this year.
Yeah, that makes sense. See a question. How do I make the perfect improvement progress schedule? There's no such thing as perfect, and I would say focus on making progress rather than being perfect. That being said, we have a pretty good resource at chessgoals.com. I can just link it here. Chessgoals.com. If you go through the courses, we have a free study plan for um, the Chess Goals blueprint. So let me link that.
I dropped it in
Uh,
already.
okay, nice. Chess Goals blueprint right there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yep, so start there, and that'll get you 99% of the way. We have some other free courses too if you're interested in those, and paid ones. What are Okay, playing OTBs, what are the ways you found yourself being psyched out by your opponent? I wouldn't even say it's anything my opponent does. I am just very anxious over the board. So like the only time I'm not anxious is when I'm playing someone like Matt, where like I lose nothing by losing and I gain a ton by winning. So I've had some games against like Justin was in the chat earlier. I played a game against him a few months ago, and I wasn't nervous at all because he's rated maybe like 500 points higher than me. And I played a pretty good game. I had a really big advantage, but he just outplayed me and beat me, so that was too bad. But I find myself like when I'm playing someone at my rating, I'm like, okay, if I win or lose, it's okay because I'm not going to fluctuate too much. But a lot of my games are against players rated like 1100, 1200, and I'm 400 rating points higher than them, and I just don't feel like I can consistently beat them. And so I get very nervous, like I have to win this position. Like I have to win, or I'm just, gonna hunt so much rating that I've worked so hard for and like weirdly attach myself to my rating, even though I'm like 1500, 1600.
And I think that's one of the hardest things in chess is so quickly when you very first start playing chess, you have to get a rating. And anytime you tell someone that you play chess, if they play, their first question is going to be, what's your rating?
Yeah.
We're all attached to these ratings and it means so much, but it comes with a lot of pressure. So, like Jesse used to play a lot of poker. When you play poker, you may know like who the sharks are at the table, who the fish are, but there's luck involved. There's swings, good days, bad days, whatever. When you play chess, like it's all on you. You know which player is higher rated. You know what percentage of the time you're supposed to win, approximately, who has the pressure of winning. And I think that can take the fun out of it and add a lot of stress for some people. Like you don't want to lose a game or have a bad tournament and see your rating plummet.
Yeah, this is something that Gotham Chess has talked about too, where he was doing like a mini push for GM, not super seriously, but he said like he'd be sitting at the board and he'd just be shaking. Like I get that same thing.
Mm.
Like I'm just like shaking. I'm so nervous and like scared of making a mistake. And I bet if someone was looking at me, they would have no idea. But like my heart rate is just like like my heart is pounding through my chest when I'm playing a game of chess.
I didn't realize
Um,
you got that nervous till you told me later. Like I had seen you play, but I didn't realize you were so nervous.
oh yeah, for sure. I get nervous if I'm like if I have like a rook and four pawns against a king. Like, okay, this is gonna be so embarrassing if I stalemate this. I have to play like, like there's at no point where I'm not nervous.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple questions here that probably have the same answer. How do I get from 17 to 1800 in Lee chess? How do I break the 2000 barrier in Lee chess? I'll give my advice, and it's just work at it over the long term very slowly and really focus on your games. If you're if you're 1700 and you're trying to get to 1800, I bet if you just sit down and really, really, really focus on all your games, I bet you'll get there without even getting better. It's like really focusing on playing your very, very best chess, and I bet you get to 1800 no problem. 100 points is within like the margin of error, so you can probably do it. So just like really focus on 100% focus on your games, and you can probably do it. Do you have advice?
Yeah, I would agree with what you said and also what Presta J is saying in the chat, play more games. I think play a lot of games and work on takeaways. Like find very constructive feedback for yourself in every single game. And if you have the resources, you could get a coach and they can help you do this, but it's something that you can learn to do on your own. Like run your game reviews, check your games with the engine and see what things you need to work on game after game. And if you still find you're stuck and you're in that like 1700 lead chess to 2000 lead chess range where we have a couple questions in the chat, one resource that I really like is Silman's Reassess Your Chess. So I know we talked about chess books and don't spend too much time on chess books. If I had to recommend one book to kind of complement your chess progress while you're playing a lot, that's the book. Because Silman talks about imbalances. And I think that's really the best way to think about chess positions. And it'll be kind of eye opening, I think. And there may be some growing pains at first when you read the book, but after you kind of start to let that knowledge soak in, you'll probably get to that 2000 barrier.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. All right, I think that's gonna do it for episode one. Before we go, let me say a few things. First, thank you everyone for coming to watch. This is greatly appreciated. This is brought to you by nobody. We have no sponsors, but if you want to support us, you can like the video, subscribe, do all the things. We have some courses if you're interested, or you can try our tactics trainer. That's train.chessgoals.com. You can use promo code podcast. You can save 50% for the entire year, and that price is locked in for life. Um, I'm gonna try to do something fun right now. See if I can do this. All right, Matt. To end the episode, should we play some Family Feud?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. I played this earlier today. Can you hear the music? Okay,
I don't
I'm
hear
gonna
the music, but yeah, I can see the screen share on YouTube.
okay, I'm gonna mute it. All right. Name an animal with long ears. What you got?
Rabbit.
I don't know if they can see it on YouTube.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, yeah,
I can see it.
okay, okay, long ears.
Donkey.
Okay, that's a good one. Donkey. Okay, does a dog have long ears?
They can, yeah.
Okay, that's there. How about cat? Okay. Uh,
Horse.
that's a good one. No. How about a rat? Does a rat have ears?
Mm, elephant, elephant, elephant.
Okay, that's a good one. Boom.
Cody. Cody in the
Co
chat.
Cody for the win. Okay, perfect. We're gonna crush Callie.
Oh, we're playing a person or it's a bot?
I don't know. Double points. Name a word that could describe a cheese or a person. Okay. Stinky? I did not expect it.
Uh, I don't know. This is hard.
Okay.
Green.
How about Swiss? Okay. Green?
Oh, that was
Goat?
in the chat.
I feel like
Tasty.
goat would be good. Okay, soft? Oh, dang
Aged. Aged is good.
it. Aged? Okay,
Oh,
three
what?
strikes. You start
That
losing points if you go over three strikes. Soft. The only other thing I can think of is like
sharp,
holy.
sharp, sharp.
Oh, sharp is a good one. Okay, moldy, I'm like holy? Holy, I don't know. I don't trust it enough.
It was a good guess, Josh. Hmm. Man, I
Okay,
don't
let's
know. Does it show
see
the
what we.
answers?
Yeah, it'll show them. Oh, holy is there. American cheesy?
Cheesy. I thought of cheesy, but I didn't say it.
That's the first thing that came to my mind too.
Oh
Okay,
man.
we're winning. We got a nice little buffer here. All
Okay.
right, Matt, what's your family feud elo, would you say?
100.
I'm probably like a 1200. All right, triple points. If you ran out of money, name something of value a man might bet in a poker game. His
Oh,
watch.
car.
Okay. House
Yep.
and car. Boom, baby. That's how you do it.
Triple point round. Shirt was
Oh,
good
and
too.
Callie got zero. All right, fast money. Name something you might be holding in your hand when you're in the bathtub. Uh, phone? Book?
Nope.
Soap is probably better. Name a building that has many beds in it. Hotel coaster, yeah. Okay, 100 women. If you ran your fingers through a man's hair, what would you hate to
Lice.
find in it? Oh, yeah, nice. Activity that requires using your lips. Kissing. Name a person, something a person might use to cover bald spots.
Hat.
All right, I'm feeling good about this. Only four. Okay, so you got it. Okay, hotel, 69, nice. Lice, 50.
Ooh,
Kissing, 59, baby.
that was a
Wow,
good one.
first. Hat. Oh, we got 234. We won.
Brushing it. Chessboard in the bathtub. How
Just word in the bathtub.
about
All right,
cheese board?
a cheese board, chessboard, and a cheese board. All right, we did it. 1,500 points. See if you can beat it. This is on the Washington Post website.
That was our first try.
Um,
That was pretty good.
yeah, that was not bad.
We used to
All
chat a
right.
little early on, but then we picked up it on our own as it got further in.
Yeah.
Making Mr. Steve Harvey proud.
Oh
Nice.
man, that guy gives me the creeps. All right. That'll do it for episode one. Thanks for playing Family Feud. Thanks for all your questions, all your support. And this has been no pun intended, Matt. We are podcasters.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks for setting this up, Jesse. Thanks for everyone for watching.